Does recording voiceovers pay well? That is today's topic. And I want to go into detail. I have a lot to say about this. And it's a good question because people ask me about it all the time, every day. How much does it pay? What can you make? Firstly, the sky's the limit. It's a real business. You are going to be setting your own prices. You are going to be working with your own customers, your own equipment. You're doing this independently as a freelancer. What that means is you're in control. You're setting your rates, you're setting your deadlines, everything. You are in control. That's the first thing. The second thing is you want to be strategic with your pricing. You don't just want to charge too much because then no one will buy, but you also don't want to charge too little where you're leaving money on the table. So there's definitely a nuance to it. There's definitely an art to it. And one of the main things that can actually help you is negotiations. I want to touch on all these things a little bit, but yes, there is money to be made in voiceover. Yes, it can pay very well, but again, you have to understand these things that I'm talking about: setting the right rate, choosing the right customer, learning how to negotiate. All of this ties into that. Being successful ties into the pricing, ties into getting what you're worth. Let's start with the pricing. People ask me, how do you price a project? And for me, I look at a couple of different things. I look at how long the project is. I look at how they're going to use it. Are they going to use it commercially? Are they going to use it for a passion project? How quickly does the customer need the delivery? If they need it by tomorrow, I'm going to charge more than if they need it next week. And so there's lots of little factors that you want to take into consideration when you're putting together a price quote. And negotiating. Negotiating is very important. That can be the difference between actually making a lot more and not making as much. I've had customers that maybe I quote them 500 and they say, we can only do 300. And a lot of people would just take it right away, but you have to learn how to negotiate. And what that means is you're going to show them the value. You're going to give them the reason to want to pay more. And typically I'll either send them a voice example, an audition, a sample, so that they can see the quality, they can hear what they're working with. They get excited and they say, okay, yeah, this sounds awesome. Yeah, we can come up to 400 or 450, whatever the case may be. Another thing you can do is add things. So if their budget is 300, you can add things on there and say, look, I'll even add in an additional take. I'll add in a WAV file and an MP3. I'll add in fast delivery for free if we can meet at 400. So as you can see, I'm sweetening the deal to increase the value of what you bring to the table. That's all part of being successful and getting what you're worth, and pricing and making good money doing voiceovers. Is a lot of it is customer service, bringing value to the table, and charging what you're worth. As far as the projects go, there are good paying projects that pay well and into the thousands, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And there's small projects that can pay $100, $50, $200. And then there's, for me, would be medium, normal sized projects, which should be $400, $500, $600, $700. So you're going to get all kinds of customers. And again, you get these rates because you negotiate. It's not every day that a customer is just going to say, hey, here's $1,000. Can you do this for me? Sometimes that does happen, but a lot of times the customers will give you a rate that might be slightly less than what you want. And then you negotiate for more using the strategies, using the techniques that I just talked about, so you can actually make more money. And remember, the customer has to be happy with it. They have to actually see the value. They should be excited to accept your offer. Yes, there is good money to be made doing voiceovers. I started this as a side hustle, and then I worked my way up to do this as a main hustle. That's what I do to this day. That's how I pay my bills. I get to travel. I get to do this all from home. And people always ask me, how do you get into it? How can I get started? So that was today's opening topic for the live. I see we do have a lot of questions here. So let me go ahead and dive into the questions one by one real quick. I'll get to your question. Brandosaurus Rex says, how do you find the projects when you're just starting out? I've started to look for sample scripts. You want to have a demo. The demo is how you're going to market yourself. If you're not sure what a demo is, it's basically a portfolio. It shows customers the kind of styles, your audio quality, what you can do as a voiceover actor. You need to make a demo first and foremost. That is going to help you find the projects. That's going to help you market yourself as well. We got some more questions here. By the way, can we get to 500 likes real quick? Let's get to 500 likes. A question here from Marcus Sully. How do you keep from copyright if there is such? Typically, what I do is I sell them a license. So if they need to use my voice commercially, I sell them a commercial license, and that gives them the rights. You're giving them permission to use your voice in commercial type scenarios. Do voiceovers pay? Answer that one. Another question here is, how long have you been doing this? So I started in 2010. Been doing it since 2010, so about 14 years now. Miranda also asks, do you have to have like a special voice or can you just talk normal? This is a great question. A lot of people ask me that. Do you have to have a certain voice? The thing is, there's so many kinds of projects. There is no right voice. There is no one type of voice for this. There's all kinds of voices, male voices, female voices of different styles. There's the commercial style, there's video games, animation. There is going to be a project or a customer that needs a voice just like yours. Another question here is, how much does having theater and acting experience count? It definitely helps a lot, especially for roles like animation, character roles, because I've done some theater in high school and it definitely helped me understand how to portray characters. So that definitely, it's not a requirement. I've seen lots of people be successful without theater or acting experience, but it definitely does help. BK says, have you ever been booked for any shows or games? I have done a couple of games, arcade games, video games. The most recent one I've done is on Nintendo Switch. It's called Speed Crew. It's an indie game, racing. I was two of the main characters, so I was voicing the cutscenes, which I thought was super fun. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of those projects on the market. Cool. Eden says, should you add your theater and acting into your resume? I would. I definitely would. If you're going to reach out to a company and you want to send them a resume, you can do that. Now, the way I do this is through the websites. So you're not sending people resumes, you're auditioning for projects or you're getting people to reach out to you. But if you want to reach out to a company directly, that would be something smart to include as well. Lax says, what should one do to get started today? And that's what this live is about. I'm going to cover how to get started. I'm going to cover the most common question, like what kind of equipment do I need? How do you know if you have the right voice? Where do you find the jobs? That's what I'm going to be talking about on this live. Beartoes says, just found you in the feeds. Is there a good link to some starter steps or beginner-friendly interest? Yes, so I do have a starter course in my bio. I will talk about that in a little bit later. And I do have the YouTube channel, which is VoiceOver Freedom. And of course, we're live every day. So if you haven't yet, hit that follow because we're going live every day. We're just scratching the surface. And we are going to go into detail on how to get started. Matilda says, do you have to pay to get started? And if you do, how much do you pay? So that's going to be mostly into the equipment, which I want to talk about right now. What kind of equipment do you need to get started doing this? The most important things you're going to need is a computer, you're going to need a recording booth, and you're going to need a microphone. Most of you already have a computer, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be the latest model. If it's not older than 10 years, you're going to be solid. Mac or PC, desktop, laptop, you're going to be great. The next thing you're going to need is a place to record, so a recording booth. So I started this out of my bedroom. I started this out of my closet, using things around my house like blankets and pillow. Yes, you can do this from home. It is attainable. You do want some sound treatments. A very affordable thing for sound treatment is moving blankets. You can get them for like $5, $10 a pop. You put them on your walls so it doesn't cause echoes. Or you can use sound panels, acoustic panels. You do want to invest in some of that. And then the microphone. You absolutely need a microphone. You can't record without one. The main thing to look for is that it is a condenser microphone. Condenser microphones are great for voiceover. And I know you might be thinking it's going to be expensive, it's going to break the bank, but the thing is the technology has come a long way. You can get great sounding microphones on a budget. Now my first mic was only $50, and then I worked up to a normal kind of mic for around $100, and now I have this guy which is about $200. So if you can afford the nicer mics, absolutely, you're going to get better results, but if you're on a budget, you can make it happen with a $50, $60, $70, $80, $100 mic. It's up to you. There are different options for different budgets, but the price should not hold you back from doing this if this is something you really want to do. Shavu says, you got to teach me to make my voice unique. I'm trying to be like Keith David. So I'll talk about that. I'll definitely give you some techniques for that. BK says, what program should I have to work on the audio? A great audio program that I always recommend is called Audacity. Audacity is free to use. It's free to download. It's what I started recording on, and I always recommend it to anyone looking to get started in this. Nowadays, I use FL Studio, which is a little more advanced. It's a little more robust, but Audacity is pretty solid as well. We just hit 1,000 likes. Make sure to hit that follow because we're going live every day. We're just scratching the surface. Okay, cool. So we talked about the equipment. Where do you get the jobs? Let's talk about the jobs a little bit. Now, I get most of my projects through voiceover websites. Now, here's the thing, it's not just as simple as going to a website and making a profile. You do have to put together a voice demo. The voice demo shows what kind of voices you can do. It shows your versatility. It shows what kind of styles you can do. And it's how you get picked. It's how you get booked. So that's the voice demo. And everybody has a different sounding voice. So you want to show your strengths. You don't just want to show just one voice style the whole way through. Mix it up. Show different examples. Now, ideally, the demo is made up of projects that you've done, but when you're starting out, you're not going to have projects yet. So what I did was I actually created scripts. I used scripts based off of real projects to put in my voice demo. And so you can use a kind of a similar approach using content from books or magazines or existing scripts that show your voice's strengths. And as far as making your voice sound unique, it comes with experimenting. It comes with training your voice, getting feedback. So try different scripts and styles that maybe you haven't tried before. Shavu says, I wish pro actors would get more Hollywood movie roles for animated films. I also do as well. I share that sentiment. Recently in films, you're seeing these big star names. You know, Chris Pratt, for example, in the Mario movie. No, he is not really the best voice actor. He's not. He's a celebrity with a lot of fame to his name. And, you know, I think he did all right for Mario, but, you know, there's a lot of exceptionally talented voice actors who dedicate themselves to the voice acting art who I think could absolutely knock that role out of the park. So I see this a lot with different animated films, you know, some where they just get the celebrities and big names to do the voice acting. But I definitely think that, you know, they should have dedicated voice actors to do those main roles. But that's how I feel about it anyway. Can you please repeat the name of the program? Audacity is the name that's free to use, free to download. Lex Lang did great with Ferdinand. I don't remember that movie. I don't remember that. And yep, John Cena with the bull, exactly. So BK has a good question here. If you have no past voiceover work on a resume, would you start by posting the demo only? Yep, so start with the demo. Again, you want to train your voice. You want to get feedback on that demo as well, because that's what's going to do a lot of the selling. It's not about the resume. It's not about your credentials or anything like that. People, at least in my experience, customers and companies don't ask, oh, where is your degree from? Do you have a voiceover degree? What are your credentials? They don't say that. They say, let me see what you've done. Let me hear your demo. Let me see your work. They care about the results that you're able to do for them. They don't care about your, you know, where you went to college or what kind of gear you're using. They don't want to know that. They want to hear what you can do. And I think that goes for any sort of freelancing or side hustle, photography, videography. They're going to say, let me see your work. Let me hear your demo. Let me see what you've done. That speaks the most. So keep that in mind. It is about your work. So yes, that's why I emphasize creating a great demo, because you want to be marketing yourself in the best possible light. So that's the jobs. Again, you want to create a demo. To have a good demo, you want to have a good recording space. You can do this from home. You can do this from your bedroom or your closet with your own microphone. You want to learn how to use your software so you can take out noise like background noise. So you can make it sound loud and clear and professional. You can learn this stuff. It might be a little intimidating when you're starting out. And that is why I put together a step-by-step starter course. I have a starter course that actually walks you through this whole process. It walks you through what kind of mic to get and how to use it, how to put your booth together, what kind of materials to use, how to train your voice, different exercises to actually discover and get the best out of your voice, your styles, and recording, editing, all the best settings to get the best quality voiceovers and create your first voiceover demo. So that is the starter course, and it even includes the scripts. So Matilda just asked, where do you get the scripts? So those, I do include scripts in the starter course. Anyway, this starter course is not hundreds of dollars. It's extremely affordable. It's a one-time $27 for lifetime access. Again, that's available in the link in my bio. There is also bonus content that's optional. People ask me, what about the jobs? Where can I find the jobs? So the bonus content goes into the best websites, the best places to succeed, the best strategies to get the jobs. So that's also available.